So, congratulations, you've signed up for your first row game. There's no other sport quite like it, and I'm sure you'll have a blast. But before you get started, there's a few things you should know. When you first sign into the row game, you'll be at the hash house, and you're going to get a map that looks something like this. The first thing you should do is turn it over and read the course information on the back, which includes briefing times, the course itself, out of bounds areas, safety, all that good stuff. Read it. The next thing you want to do is locate the hash house. So this is where you are at the start, it's where it finishes, it's where the medical people are, so it's all quite important. On the map it's located with a triangle and the letters HH next to it. What you're going to look at next are the controls. So these are the circles on the maps, these are what you'll actually be going for in the row game itself. And the way you know what they are is the numbers next to them. So 58 is worth 50 points and is the 8th or whatever of that value. 41, again, is worth 40 points, and that's the first one of it, whatever. 64 down here is worth 60 points. You know, you get the idea. Now that you've got an understanding of the map, you actually want to start planning the route you're going to take on the row game itself. Now, the objective of the row game is to maximize the amount of points you get in the available time. So you want to go to as many and as high value controls as possible. You want to identify the most efficient route you can do in the time given. So often people will get out a highlighter and colour in the higher value controls just to make them stand out a little bit more in their course planning. You've got to keep in mind though that higher value controls sometimes are amongst the most difficult to get to. Not always, but that's a general rule you can follow. You also need to consider how fast you'll be going. Walking on road speed is about 5 kilometers an hour. Jogging is about 10 kilometers an hour. If you're really in a mad dash, you could run at 20k an hour, but that's pretty quick. But what also takes up a lot of time is push bashing and searching for controls. So just walking through, vegetation on the road will slow you down. Searching for controls also, you might go past it by accident, have to backtrack a bit. All these things can take time, maybe it's obscured by a tree. So you got to take that into account. So if it's your first time doing a row game, honestly, do a conservative estimate. Presume you'll only cover on average for the whole thing 5k an hour. And yeah, one helpful way of working out distances is by getting a piece of string and tying knots in it every so length. So this one on the 1 to 2500 map, these knots are about every 5 kilometers apart. So yeah, keep that in mind. So with all that in mind, you want to just draw out a plan. So you'll get highlighter or a marking pen or whatever, draw it out, and you'll have to submit a copy of that plan to race control as well. On the row game, the number one concern is looking out for controls. Controls will be somewhere in the circle on the map. So on the map, they could be anywhere within that circle. Often they'll just be in the middle, but not always. They're marked by a reflective orange and white flag and have an electronic reader on them. So you want to scan your wristband on it and make sure it flashes. Also make sure everyone on your team scans in, otherwise it won't count. But all that is useless if you can't find a control. Often you will need to search for them. When searching for them, make sure you read the description on the map, as it will tell you a lot about what you're looking for. So for example, 56 here is on a concrete foundation. So that's going to be really distinctive, and you'll just be looking for bits of concrete in the bush. And that'll help you. So that's a really good clue there. But if it's a bit more vague, such as the shallow gully, which you can see here is repeated 3 times in a row. Obviously you'll pay attention to the terrain, but also you just want to bring yourself as close to the control on the road as you can. This is my preferred technique. And then walk in on a general bearing. So knowing when to stop is also quite important. So it could be by a particular bend up here, or in between like a gully. You'll be able to notice that from the road. Or sometimes you'll just have to pay attention to water crossings, that kind of stuff. So yeah, read the contours, it's all really important, but again, you'll need to practice this. Controls near the hash house will also have a lot of traffic going through them as well, meaning you might just be able to see people walking near them, which is really easy. While out, you also want to really remember to eat and drink. It's really important because if you don't, you'll slow down over time, lose focus, and if you don't eat and drink for a long time, it can actually be quite dangerous. You also need to be aware of time. Be prepared to shorten your route, cut controls if you think you're going to be late. You lose 10 points every minute that you're late, So unless you can quickly nab a point and then be back within less than the time it takes for those points to expire, you really should not be late. And that's about it. There's not really much I can say about Rogaine other than good luck and have fun on your first time out. I presume this video won't get enough views to make it impossible for me to answer any questions put in the comments. So please do, and have a great time.